This video is intended to provide a little bit more information about the concept of agency. Agency involves a contract between a principal and an agent that authorizes a specific person, the agent, to do something that another person, the principal, has a legal right to do. For instance, if Sally asks Ben to go to the laundry to pick up her cleaning and to charge the cleaning to her account at the laundry, and then to bring that cleaning back to her, Sally has appointed Ben as her agent for the purpose of picking up her laundry and charging it to her account. Agency allows businesses to actually operate because the concept of agency allows an employer to appoint agents, who are often employees, to do specific things on behalf of the employer. Without agency, a business owner would have to do everything themselves, because without agency, the business owner couldn't appoint anyone to act on their behalf. For example, Walmart buys lots of products from various vendors. But if Walmart couldn't employ buyers and authorize those buyers to buy specific kinds of goods for specific kinds of prices, then Walmart couldn't operate, at least in its current fashion, because it wouldn't have the ability to acquire all of the products that it needs to sell in its stores. In that example, Walmart is the principal and also the employer, and the buyers that it hires are his agents, also its employees. Agencies can be formed or result in several different ways. The usual and the best way to create an agency is with a contract, either a verbal contract or a written contract that specifies what the principal is appointing the agent to do on behalf of the principal. That's an express agency. And if the thing that the agent is being appointed to do for the principal requires the agent to execute a written contract, then the express agency contract should be a written contract. An agency can also be created by the actions and conduct of the principal, who is the person who's appointing the agent. The agency can be created by their actions and conducts. That's an implied agency. And even if a principal doesn't appoint an agent, if the principal says something or takes some action that causes a third party to reasonably think that that principal has an agent, then that third party is entitled to deal with the agent on behalf of the principal. That's an apparent authority, a situation that person who the third party is reasonably led to believe can act for the principal, that agent has apparent authority. And if a principal hasn't appointed an agent, but someone has done something on behalf of the principal and the principal accepts the benefit of that act, then that has created an agency by ratification. When an agency is created, the principal has certain obligations that are owed to the agent, and the agent has certain obligations that are owed to the principal. The principal has a duty, first of all, to cooperate with the agent. That is, if the principal needs something done, and to accomplish that, the principal has to take some action to enable the agent to accomplish the agency, then the principal has an obligation to do that thing, to cooperate with the agent in carrying out the agency. If the agency agreement calls for the agent to be compensated for their efforts, and or if the agency agreement provides that the agent will be reimbursed by the principal for any expenses that the agency incurs in carrying out the agency, then the principal has the obligation to compensate and reimburse the agent. And if the agency requires the agent to perform his or her duties under the agency in a place that's controlled by the principal, then the principal has the obligation to the agent to make that premises safe, to provide safe working conditions for the agent. On the other hand, the agent owes the principal some obligations too. And the first obligation is to perform the agency. So if the principal appoints an agent, the agent has to go forward in carrying out whatever the agency is. And along the same lines, if the principal gives the agent instructions, then the agent is obligated to carry out those instructions so long as those instructions are legal and so long as those instructions reasonably relate to carrying out the agency. An agent also has an obligation of loyalty to the principal. That means that the agent has to act in the best interest of the principal in carrying out the agency, and that the agent can't take opportunities that arise out of the agency for him or herself because those obligations belong to the principal. Agent also owes the principal an obligation of notification. That simply means that whatever information the agent acquires or comes across in carrying out the agency that's relevant to the agency, then the agent has an obligation to notify the principal of that information. And if the agent receives anything in the performance of the agency obligations, whether that be money or property, then the agent has an obligation to account for, to tell the principal about the money or the property that has been received in carrying out the agency. Once an agency has been created, it can be terminated in several different ways. If the purpose of the agency is accomplished, if the agent does what the principal wants the agent to do, then once that agency purpose has been carried out, then the agency ends. There's nothing more to do. If the purpose of the agency becomes impossible, if what the agent is supposed to do is not possible because of some action or event that's outside the control of the agent and the principal, then the agency will end. It can't be accomplished now. If there's a change in circumstances that make the purpose of the agency different or more difficult, and whatever that event or circumstance is not in the control of the principal of the agent, then the fact that the purpose of the agency has changed or has become more difficult can also end the agency. And there are several things that can cause an agency to end by operation of law. So for instance, if either the principal or the agent becomes incompetent mentally or declares bankruptcy, then the agency can end.